suppose you can say this is going to be our entry into the world of 40k. And based off the cinematic trailer that we just reacted to, one of our last videos, I asked the question, how does one get into this franchise? And then people in the comments were like, no, you got to check out this guy, Bricky. He's got a really good breakdown. And here we are. So we're going to be reacting to Bricky's what is Warhammer 40k? And it's got like a timeline, of the 40k lore. So I'm here for it. You ready for this?
Yeah, to be fair, I'm always interested in playing the games and understand the lore, but I didn't know where to start. So hopefully this guy will help us to know where to start and understand the lore of it. So.
Yeah. I've got a strange feeling that this may become like a very expensive hobby for me. But yeah, let's jump into it, man. It's a half an hour video, but yeah, we are gonna add our commentary on top of this. But yeah, shouts to Bricky.
In the grim darkness of the 41st millennium exists the Empire of Man, a backwards carcass of an empire comprised of many devoted forces, gigantic robot knights, religious machine cultists, and incredibly heavily armored women, most likely with sweltering abs. And one must know what those abs taste like.
Okay, that was right there. Okay, and is that even that's actually an energy drink? Is that his? Is that even, wait, is that real or am I missing a joke?
I think he promote his own drinks.
My Gamer Sup's flavor is
pure.
Sweet six-pack.
That's a good way to plug a promo, to be fair.
A delicious and refreshing cherry
support.
pineapple blend. The age of knowledge and enlightenment has ended. The age of darkness has begun.
Knowledge and enlightenment.
Roughly 60 million years ago, there existed aliens. And these aliens lived short, painful lives. They belonged to radiation-stricken worlds and often died of various cancers before the age of 30. These aliens, the Necron tier, looked up to the stars and found extreme beings of real power, beings with the ability to create life, the old ones of the galaxy. They asked these old ones for help. Please cure us of our ailments. To which the old ones said, piss off. So the Necron tier gathered together and did the sensible thing. They declared war upon these old beings and were promptly beaten into the dirt back to their short, painful lives. In the world of Warhammer, there is a hell. This hell is not like you and I know it. It's more of an afterlife, a place where dead souls end up. This place has many names: the Imperium, the Sea of Souls, the Imperium, and the Ether. But mostly, we just call it the Warp. While you and I know of hell as a place of horrors and punishment, the Warp isn't really that. Not in the beginning. It's energy, but the kind of energy formed from thought and soul, psychic energy, where the dead souls of people end up in a place that is impossible to understand. No laws of reality exist. Like, time is merely a suggestion, and it is not something that can be braved easily. The Warp would be like sailing the ocean in a pirate movie. To jump from your ship would be certain death. To stay in the sea for too long on your boat could drive up.
All right, so yeah, I've heard of the warp thing, so I got a good understanding of that, how this was created, as the Sea of Souls, basically. And I've also, from what I understand, it's a way to travel through time, or it's like a portal to stay. The CV explains, but that's what I understand.
So what do they
as well.
use it for? So the souls are just to use as an energy source?
I think the souls itself is like some kind of energy source, the warp itself, right? Or hell. And I think he's going to get to this, mankind have used this energy as a means for travel.
Okay.
And I think that's like the whole basis of the Emperor conquering the galaxy, the stars, the universe. That's how he's conquered everything through these warps. Could be wrong though, but that's my that's my sort of theory. What do you think of it so far, with everything you got?
Boy, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm still confused, man. I know that they said there's hell and they explained to you how the first war happened between the two races. The ones the race that are sick and they die young, and then the old ones. So I guess that might be the first war that's happened so far. At least that's something I get.
Yeah, because this is before mankind's come into the play, right? Yeah. So we're getting there.
And then the hell, which is not the hell that we know, and they somehow has the energy source of the souls. So now we're just...
It's actually pretty interesting. It's a good theory. Yeah. I remember talking to someone not so long ago, and they were telling me about, consciousness, right? Yeah. How we got humans. It's nice, a very unique ability that we have as humans. And then she was like saying, when we pass away, our consciousness goes to the source, the main source. And I guess it's no different to what hell is in this franchise, as in our souls, or maybe our consciousness goes to this main source, and that's power in itself. But yeah, let's jump in.
A man mad, and there are many dangerous things lurking in those depths. Yet the sea is not for too. To jump from your ship would be certain death. To stay in the sea for too long on your boat could drive a man mad. And there are many dangerous things lurking in those depths. Yet the sea is not evil. It simply is.
Yeah, it's just its own entity.
There are more malevolent beings in those waters, areas that you do not sail towards. This would be known as the realm of chaos. The realm of chaos exists in the warp as a special area led by 3 chaos gods.
I'll call back and say, so basically in this warp, you have different realms, which is interesting. So, and this would be another realm, so the realm of chaos. That's what I'm gathering so far.
Chaos exists in the warp as a special area led by 3 chaos gods. Khorne, the god of combat, murder, and slaughter, with a pile of skulls taken in his name. Tzeentch, god of change, mystery, and deceit, a confusing paradox of lies, schemes, and sorceries. And Nurgle, god of rot, pestilence, and Genshin impact. All things rot in the end.
It's like so
and
many
Grandfather
gods.
Nurgle is waiting for you with open arms. These gods ruled their respective realm in the warp, sending their many followers against each other in the great game to be the most powerful of all.
So is he saying there's 3 chaos realms in the warp?
Yeah, that's
I
what he
thought
said.
there was 1 chaos realm, but 3 gods. But I guess there's 3 realms.
Yeah, because if you saw the other one, they had like different views from the other one, from the first one.
Okay. So there could be... I wonder how many realms are in this place.
All the gods. So the warp exists. Hell is real, parallel to our galaxy, with the realm of chaos and its gods fighting for control. But there are also gods of real space, gods of the normal world too. They're called Catan, and they eat stars.
You think God stays in heaven because he too lives in fear of what he's created?
These star gods saw the plight of our poor Necron tier and how the old ones cast them aside and said, you know what? You guys want immortality? Oh, we will make it happen. We are the gods of the tangible, of real space. We can give you a cure. So then they ate all their souls and turned them into robotic automaton, feasting on their souls and leaving a hollow shell of an intelligence left that is technically immortal. With the power of an entire species' souls, they turned their new robotic slaves on the old ones and hunted them to extinction. The Necron tier, now the soulless, undying Necrons, got their wish at the price of their souls. But we can count the number of kind gods on an amputated hand. With time, the selfish star gods turned on each other, fighting one another for more chances at glory and power. With this, the leader of the Necrons, Zarek, the Silent King, the man who doomed his species when he accepted this deal, waited, planned, bide his time until he seized the perfect moment and turned his legions of undead citizens against the star gods. Gods cannot be killed, but they can be broken. So Zarek broke the star gods into thousands of pieces and locked them away in vaults, taking their free will away as they did to them, and sealed them away as basically Pokemon to be used as weapons in the future.
Jeez.
Who's that
That's a source of power.
It's the Void Dragon.
Zarek then,
Void Dragon.
with his perfect memory, exiled himself for his sins, flying out to the darkness between galaxies to atone for what he had done. This entire situation, the genocide of the Old Ones and the rebellion of Zarek, will go down in history as the War in Heaven. It is the most brutal war the galaxy has ever seen and ever will see. This was a conflict that took an entire galaxy-spanning species and pitted them against gods that ate stars. The Necrons, rather crippled from, you know, the War in Heaven, decide
Right, how do you fight that?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I need to know what they did.
How do you fight that? Every time I hear what was this? The fire gods? What was it? The gods, the star gods?
Oh, as in not Necron.
I already forgot his name. The one that they just defeated, basically.
Yeah.
Every time I hear him, like, this god eats stars, I just think of Galactus.
That's what I'm saying. And
How do you fight that? Like, I'm envisioning Galactus eat the stars.
I think
like,
they took advantage of the war, because remember they had a war amongst each other.
yeah.
So they took advantage of that, and then that's how they were able to defeat them, and not defeat them, but seal them.
Yeah, seal them in
Yeah.
different pieces and then use that sort of energy. I don't know.
You know, I have a feeling that they're gonna escape somehow. I don't know how, but they're gonna escape, and then they're gonna cause problems again.
that took an entire galaxy-spanning species and pitted them against gods that ate stars. The Necrons, rather crippled from, you know, the War in Heaven, decide to go to sleep in gigantic tomb worlds on various planets until the upstart species of the galaxy died out. And so turns out, when you have a war that lasts tens, hundreds of thousands of years and involves the genociding of multiple species, the old ones of the galaxy, and the consumption
Yeah, that long, you're going to need a lot of resources, man. It's true.
of souls from an entire race, the warp gets a little wacky. You know, if you had a kiddie pool and it was nice and calm, Korn is over there splashing about, so you don't really go in that direction. Nurgle has explosive diarrhea, so you don't really go in that direction either, but you can still kind of get in the pool. The pool's still fine. Turns out, when you add a couple trillion souls to that kiddie pool, it'll make the waves a little more turbulent.
Okay.
And turns out, a lot of them like to pick a side, Nurgle, Tzeentch, or Korn. So the once calmer warp, the once relaxing kiddie pool, has now been bloated. A million years of war will certainly make Korn, god of murder and slaughter, more powerful. A million years of war will probably make Tzeentch, god of deception and change, a little more powerful. And
they're
good
getting stronger
God,
and
a
stronger.
million years of war will make Nurgle, god of decay, oh, just the tiniest bit more powerful. Now, entering that kiddie pool is no longer fun, it's dangerous. The warp is now a problem. Hell is resembling hell a lot closer to what we imagined it originally. The Sea of Souls and the Realm of Chaos are now intertwined. So who else to brave the galaxy than a species that won't need to deal with that?
Humans? The age of the elf.
The Eldar are space elves. They have a lot of the traits that you probably think of when you think of elves. Tall, slender, pointy ears, bit more androgynous looking, no matter what DeviantArt will tell you, and a bit stronger on the emotion.
It's crazy how I've never heard of it. Like, it's weird that it's the first I'm hearing it together. And yeah, I don't know, it's weird that I haven't heard this sooner. A space elf.
Yeah, no, that's true.
A space elf. I don't think I've ever expected them two words to be together.
Side. The old ones, as I mentioned, could create life. And when they were getting, you know, absolutely bodied by the Catan
create
and
a
the
space
Necrons,
elves.
they made some new races to try to help them. One of them was the Eldar. It didn't save them, but they're here now anyway. Oh, and also the Orcs, but they're busy right now.
Just like one of their games.
The Eldar are a particularly psychically powerful race, so they were really adept at being able to handle the new turbulent warp of chaos and good at killing Necrons, hence why they went to sleep. Being psychically gifted is basically like being a wizard, but you get your wizard powers from hell. This is called being a psyker. And basically, if you want to
they
do
channeled it
cool
from the
wizard
wolf.
shit like lightning from your hands or reading someone's mind, you can do that, but you siphon the energy to do that from the warp. Luckily, the Eldar are very good at handling this without too many negative effects, because, you know, summoning power from the Sea of Souls with the new Chaos Friends can be a bit of an issue. But Eldar are pretty good at it. And you see, what's really cool and also awful about Warhammer is that most developed species travel long, faster than light distances by going through that warp. They create a tear in reality to unreality and move through it. Faster than light travel? Cringe. We go through hell itself to deliver your packages. For those of you who play Minecraft, you know how the Nether is like a pocket dimension? So moving 10 spaces in the Nether is actually moving something like 1,000 in the real world. That's basically what warp travel is. Just much like in the Nether, there are a lot of things that want to kill you. The Eldar found a way to do so in between realities. Not regular reality, not the warp, something else. A purgatory of sorts, a fabricated psychic realm that allowed them to travel without fearing the negative effects of the warp. The Eldar were the perfect fit for the new galaxy, and they took it.
Yeah, I've heard of this before. This is this is bringing up some memories. But yeah, this is how they maximize and capitalize of this, and this is how I believe the Emperor eventually conquers the system, the galaxy, the stars. This kind of technology. Interesting, though.
With open arms and pointy ears, the empire of the Eldar spread everywhere, and it spread all the way until now, the 21st century.
So
that's right. While you were watching NPC streams on TikTok, the space elves were ruling the galaxy, and they did so for quite a long period of time. The 21st century came and went. Humanity grew and grew, all under the nose of their elf overlords. At this time, humans advanced, your classic sci-fi style way. We began to expand, colonize our solar system, terraformed our planets, created new and more powerful machines and starships. The age of Terra, also known as Earth, but we call it Terra here, was here, and existed between the 21st century all the way until the 15th millennia. Not much is known about this time, not much needs to be known. Humanity grew up, sought the stars. It's classic. Then came the years between 15,000 and 25,000, the age of technology, or to some, the dark age of technology. This is when humanity reached a new apex of technological understanding. When you think of sci-fi, there's a lot of things you can think of. Star Trek, maybe Star Wars style. You can go cyberpunk dystopian. The age of technology was deep sci-fi.
I ain't gonna lie, like we're halfway in, but this was so far, I feel like this is like every sci-fi sort of movie, book, or kind of media I've read crammed into one story. They've got everything. It's crazy, but it's really well done as well, especially with this timeline. So I really do appreciate it. But it's like they even tapping into AI. Like I think that's what he's building up to. It's great. They got everything.
So they already predicted how it's gonna be. To be fair, like the AI.
Crazy. Yeah, from the gods, from the explanation of the warp. I have a good understanding of that. Space travel, or warp travel.
But then I want to ask, who created the humans then in this? Because if the old ones could create life now,
I'm guessing the old ones created the Eldars. Eldars ruled the universe with their technology and their ability to space warp.
Yeah.
And I guess he didn't say it, but I'm assuming humans are probably descendants of the Eldars. That's what I'm assuming. But I think I'm guessing all life in this universe comes from the old ones to help them fight.
But that's what I'm saying. But where did humans come from? Because they didn't mention humans.
Yeah, he said somewhere in this humans came, right, between this sort of bracket. But yeah, there's no specific mention. I know what you're saying, but I'm assuming it's either their descendants or they're just already there and they've just been evolving over time.
Scientific prowess that fringed on magic. This is also when the first ever scientific in the age of technology was deep sci-fi, like a scientific prowess that fringed on magic. This is also when the first ever psychers began showing up in humanity. Individuals with the genetic mutation to be able to access the warp, and then because of that, travel through it. Humanity was no longer constricted to their early ways of travel. With warp travel, they could go anywhere in the galaxy. They equipped ships with gigantic AI machines, with everything you would ever need to know about mankind, and sent them out on colony ships to expand their influence across the galaxy. This was truly the golden age of humanity. And with every golden
he had to put this screenshot in. But man, just looking at this actually threw me off. Yeah. But yeah, I'm just wondering how. So humanity would basically just went about to colonize the universe at this point through their ability to warp travel now. But then, where are the Eldars or the space elves at this point?
I think that they're far away from our galaxy.
Or maybe they haven't come across each other yet?
So I think they're going to come across each other now, because remember they said they were sending ships to different colonies. So now they might actually encounter them, and then they might see Earth as a threat, or vice versa.
Okay.
I think that might come up next, isn't it?
Oh, please don't tell me they got an eclipse coming.
This was truly the golden age of humanity. And with every golden age, there is a fall. While the new human upstarts of the galaxy were reaching new levels of technology and prowess, the Eldar were engaging in debauchery. What happens when a species has everything? You can produce unlimited food out of nothing. Your need for farmers and workers, gone. You have dominated the stars and have created a fast travel system that doesn't rely on the dangers of the warp. You have nothing else to do. You have no struggles, no problems, and feel as if there is nowhere else to go. Well, you begin to experiment. The Eldar started harmless enough. You know, you take a serious interest in your species' culture, your arts, paintings, poems, plays. These are Eldar, elves, remember? Their emotions are heightened, more powerful than us humans. So your plays get louder. They start to push on.
Let's predict it. What do you think's gonna happen?
Bruv, civil war and fight.
Over what though? They got everything, right? They can, like you said, they can create food out of nothing. They've conquered everything. They're at the pinnacle of like their technology and so forth. Like, where do you go from there?
The magical word is greed and power.
I would say the same thing. I think they're gonna get greedy. They're gonna want to like take over everything basically. Yeah. Maybe even look towards the warp and look at them free chaos squads to see what's going on there. Maybe arrogance and greed. Let's see.
On the limits of your hearing ability, your music becomes different, more deranged. It pushes the boundaries of what is art. The visual spectacle of art becomes more bizarre, more delusional, more eccentric. And let's not forget a very important sense. Touch. Pornography is one thing. I'm a virgin. Brothels is another. What if they all mixed? What if your brothels were part of your art and music? And what if those became more deranged? The boundaries of debauchery were not just met, but shattered. Next thing you know, murder is commonplace.
It's kind of weird because it feels like it's just unraveling. It feels like chaos is seeking in. Like you get to this peak of like just being a life form, and then to go further than that, it's to sort of like unravel and then engage in this debauchery or degeneracy, I would even say. It's weird, isn't it? I don't know. It's interesting.
Or they're trying to become gods now.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Not just met, but shattered. Next thing you know, murder is commonplace and often mixed with the art, music, and sex. Pain is a common byproduct of entertainment. Whatever sensation you can have must be increased.
I don't know if you ever heard of that. I don't watch porn or whatever. It's like it's not really for me. But I've heard stories or like arguments like if the more and more you watch, the more desensitized you come, and the more desensitized you come to it, the more extreme stuff you want to watch. And it kind of feels like this is what's happening to them. They're so desensitized to everything that they're searching for new levels of just extreme stuff. Like, how are you gonna have a play and you're just gonna murder someone as part of the act? That's crazy.
They just want to feel alive or something.
They're just chasing that feeling.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. That's good theory though.
be enhanced, must be taken to the limits. The Eldar Empire slipped into a nightmarish realm of debauchery and excess, with the worst of it taking place in a city in the Webway, a black market for these kinds of heinous acts known as Kamara. Some Eldar saw the writing on the wall, saw what was happening to their species and how far they had slipped. So they boarded continent-sized starships called craft worlds and left their empire, seeking a more enlightened, calmer existence among their peers. Some, those in Kamara, pushed it to even greater heights, relishing the pain and torment they inflicted on those around them. All during this, the warp, the yin to the yang of the world, was fed by these emotions, by the psychic power of the Eldar, by the souls taken in these depraved acts on a galactic scale. And just like that, Eldar ended. Slanesh, the fourth chaos god, was birthed into existence and consumed.
So you're telling me they're the reasons why this fourth god, chaos, the fourth god of chaos was created through all of that debauchery. Jeez.
That must have been powerful race.
This reminds you of I was almost going to say she reminds you of Slan from Berserk, but I guess it's a little different, or a lot different. Oh man, that's crazy. Yeah, okay. All right.
The souls of 90% of the Eldar population. Those that fled
90%.
were spared the worst of it. And those in the Webway and Kamara were able to step and consumed. The fourth chaos god was birthed into existence and consumed the souls of 90% of the Eldar population.
Says you right.
Those that fled were spared the worst of it. And those in the Webway and Kamara were able to stave off the pull of Slanesh so long as they continued to commit horrid acts of torture and violence. But for the majority of the Eldar, their empire died with Slanesh's birth. The new fourth chaos god, she who thirsts, the god of unspeakable excess of pleasure, pain, hedonism, and perfection, had been born. With the fall of the Eldar Empire came the ruin of humanity. Slanesh's birth sent storms in the warp across the galaxy, making travel between star systems impossible. Coupled with a huge classic AI rebellion, as a staple in these sci-fi settings, humanity began to suffer the age of strife. Now, planets that relied on intergalactic travel were completely cut off. Long-range messages normally sent through the warp were snuffed out. If you were a planet that was great at mining,
her birth was just through everything off, just through the whole balance off. Crazy, man. Interesting,
stuff,
man.
but couldn't
Who comes
get
up
food?
with this idea?
Well,
That's true.
you know that movie about the rugby players in the mountains? Oh, and because of these insane warp storms and fluctuations, psychers began to appear among the human population a bit more often. Now, this initially had them hunted down as witches, because that's pretty common in this setting, but some deemed it right to protect them. Unfortunately for those people, psychers, because they open a gateway to the warp, don't really know how to use their powers well, and they kinda attract demons, who then force their way through the Psyker as a conduit of sorts and begin to slaughter the population of your planet. The Age of Strife was a catastrophic period of time for humanity and set back their progress tenfold over the not one, not two, but 5,000 year period. During this time, the age of humanity that we know began to form. Worlds equipped with large mechs for agriculture began to equip them with weapons to defend from alien and demonic invaders. Over 5,000 years, this became a custom and tradition, dubbing them as night worlds, a feudal society of honor-bound knights in gigantic robots that uphold the chivalric code to defend their worlds and honor. A group of individuals on Mars, after radioactively
why they mention the knights but no king? Who are they serving? I know they're serving humanity, they're doing their best for humanity, but there's got to be some ruler in place, right?
Remember they said that some people were cut off because of the warp thing. Remember the people that went to colonize the planets?
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that's a good point.
Because they can't connect with them anymore.
Yeah. Okay, I'm getting.
Their planet to become inhospitable to human life, ran their entire lives underground on the few life support systems keeping them alive. Those technicians who could work on the machines and keep them operational were revered, and over 5,000 years went from skilled members of society to full-blown priests. The cult Mechanicus, or tech priests of Mars, formed in the ashes of the Red Planet with a religious fervor and doctrine on the cult of the machine god. And on Earth, techno-barbarian tribes waged war across the planet in a Mad Max style of blood and gore, until finally, a mysterious man who lived in the shadows of Terra for millennia finally revealed himself to the populace. His name was the Emperor. He deemed himself the Emperor of mankind. Where did he
You gotta have big cojones to do that, right? I'm the Emperor now. Listen to me. What's his angle though?
come from? I don't know. Why is he 10 feet tall and the most powerful psyker of all of mankind? I don't know. Why is he basically immortal? I don't know. Where'd Cotton Eye Joe go? Who knows? But he's here, and he isn't happy with all of you ripping up Terra. So he began the Unification Wars, where he and a very early version of the famous Space Marines, the Thunder Warriors, reunited Terra under a single banner. With blood. Then, after taking over Earth, he reunited the Thunder Warriors into the fucking dirt. This is where we get the Imperium of Man, also known as the Imperium. The new faction headed by the Emperor of Mankind, with a treaty signed with the cult Mechanicus on Mars to spread out and reunite humanity after the catastrophic Age of Strife. But first, the Emperor is going to need some smaller versions of himself. 20 of them, 18 of them, I meant, gene-crafted sons of the strongest human to ever live. All of them possess unparalleled strategic power, intelligence, formidable strength and size, a real powerful force to unite humanity and stop the chaos of the current galaxy. Speaking of chaos, you ever seen that image of that guy? It's like,
how many sons did he have? 10.
Like a basketball. It's about what happened. The Chaos Gods intervened and grabbed the 18 Primarch gestation pods and yeeted them across the galaxy at a whim, everywhere they could possibly go. A galactic game gave them empathy and formidable strength and size. A real powerful force to unite humanity and stop the chaos of the current galaxy. Speaking of chaos, you ever seen that image of that guy? It's like throwing the baby like a basketball. It's about what happened. The Chaos Gods intervened and grabbed the 18 Primarch gestation pods and yeeted them across the galaxy.
All right, so the Chaos Gods can physically get involved.
I think they can
in these different dimensions and worlds. They can actually come in and manipulate this. Is that what you say?
But how do they know what Earth is doing though?
Yeah, well, I'm guessing they can see everything from their sort of realm. They are gods after all, but I didn't know they can physically come in and physically move. 18 of his kids. That's crazy.
At a whim, everywhere they could possibly go. A galactic game of keep away. So the Emperor had to get them back. So begins the Great Crusade. A crusade across the stars to reunite not just humanity, but the Emperor.
Imagine he got all 18 of his kids back, or his offsprings, or his successors. And as soon as he got them back, the Chaos Gods come and scatters them again.
All of them might be dead already, though.
With his fallen sons. The first to be found was Horus, one of the strongest and most noble sons. The Emperor carried with him a legion of newly crafted warriors with genetic material made from their Primarch father. These are the newly made Space Marines. For Horus, his were the Luna Wolves. And as the Emperor continued on his great crusade, he found more and more of his sons, reuniting them with their individual Space Marine legions. Leman Russ, the cunning hunter with the Space Wolves. Rogel Dorm, the Phalanx with the Imperial Fists. Angron, the Barbarian, the very angry with his World Eaters. Fulgrim, the Perfect, with his Emperor's children, and Jagatai Khan, the Swift, the Stoic, and his white scars. Those were just some of the 18, and one by one his lost Primarch sons were returned to him, and their Space Marine legions returned to them. The Great Crusade saw humanity once again reconquer the stars, returning worlds of humanity back to the Imperium and killing any and all who stood against their noble crusade. But in the years of the 31st millennia, treachery would break this all apart.
Let me guess, one of the sons, Horus. Horus Heresy.
Horus, the Emperor's most beloved and favored sons, named War Master for the Crusade, succumbed to the power of chaos and daddy issues, all because of that bastard Erebus. Yo, fuck Erebus. Slowly, Horus would become corrupted, turning the Emperor's sons against him. This begins the most pivotal moment in our story, and the one that has like 50 books written about it, the Horus Heresy. 9 of the 18 Primarchs turned against the Emperor, and the following years were a bloody battle for the throne of Terra. The Emperor originally was working on a special webway project, just like the Eldar, to make faster-than-light travel significantly easier and safer, really improve humanity to allow them to conquer the stars without the risk of the warp. Well, this big red idiot named Magnus kind of blew a hole into that, literally and figuratively. So Big E over there is stuck on a gigantic golden throne, holding back the oncoming rush of demons and powering the Astronomicon. Basically a big North Star for people who are sailing in the warp to help them navigate. The Horus Heresy saw many loyalist and traitor legions pitted against each other in a bloody war until it reached Terra itself. Horus, unable to break through the lines and with time running out, made a gambit and opened his ship up to be boarded. The Emperor took this challenge, quickly allowing someone else to take control of the throne as he teleported his way onto Horus's flagship, the Vengeful Spirit. The Emperor, unable to truly kill his most beloved son, changed his mind right quick when Horus strangled the life out of his other son, Sanguinius.
Oh no!
I'm sure you've seen this image at some point. The Emperor then said, "I'm not gonna sugarcoat it," and proceeded to psychically blast Horus into complete oblivion, killing not only his body, but also his soul. Horribly wounded from this duel, the Emperor is returned to the Golden Throne in order to keep the demons at bay and power the Astronomicon, because without it, humanity would be flying blind. There he sits, slowly dying from his wounds and the strain of powering the Golden Throne. The only thing keeping him alive is feeding upon the souls of 1,000 Psykers every single day. This was 10,000 years ago. We are now in the 41st millennium, modern day. Warhammer 40,000.
Okay.
The Emperor remains on his throne. The Imperium is a rotting carcass of an empire, a fascist, xenophobic cult that worships the Emperor as a deity despite him never wanting to be seen as a god. Over the span of 1 million worlds, the ecclesiarchy, the church of the Emperor, is spread throughout. Inquisitors with unparalleled power root out any sign of heresy or lack of devotion to their god Emperor. The other half of the traitor legions move about as Chaos Space Marines, raiding and pillaging the Imperium, while the loyalist half does their best to keep the Empire alive. All throughout this, they must endure Orc invasions, Eldar trickery, the reawakening of the Necron race, and the Great Devourer, the newest tyrannid threat from the darkness between galaxies that has arrived to feast on their worlds. The theme of Warhammer 40,000 is regression and intolerance. Every major faction in Warhammer has had an empire that spanned the galaxy only to be crushed back to a hollow shell of what they once were due to their own failings. Culture, the arts, personal freedom, religious tolerance.
Okay, so we're coming up almost to the end, and I understand now this whole universe in itself, but I was still thinking, like, what's the objective here for the Imperium? I know they got to fend off the guys that betrayed us and whatnot. What's the overall objective in this, and how are we helping the Emperor if we can?
The simple possibility.
No, I was gonna say it because he said he just want to conquer the world, bro. That's his aim. So he's moving like the
Who, the Emperor?
yeah. He said they wanted to conquer the Earth to spread the.
He did. No, but he did conquer the Earth. But then he got betrayed by
No, that's
one
what
of
I'm
his
saying.
sons.
So he has to do. So now he's back to normal. They
But
regressed.
he's immobile, right? Because he's having to hold back that light source, and he's being fed 1,000 souls to do so. So he's completely immobile. But then I'm like, what's the Imperium doing at this point? What's the overall? I guess it is to fight off the other half of the betrayers, I suppose. But then I'm also thinking, what's these Chaos Gods up to?
Ability that alien life might not want to kill us is considered heretical and is often met with a pistol to the head. There is no time for these things. All there is time for is worship of the God Emperor and a million wars to be fought. To
Why?
be a human in the 41st millennia is 99% of the time to live a horrible existence. To be one of trillions of other humans across a million worlds throughout the
Where's the
galaxy. A
salvation?
galaxy where AI is outlawed, so humans are repurposed and lobotomized to become slaves. A place where lack of devotion is met with death.
Tell me
And if
there's
you
some
even
light at the
have
end of the
devotion,
tunnel,
there's
please.
a good chance the threats to the galaxy, chaos, and aliens will kill you anyway. Warhammer is a world where you revel in being bad. There are protagonists, there are antagonists, but every faction is some shade of evil. Because playing the bad guys is always more fun. And my friend, you have a selection. So pick up that las gun soldier. You and the other 3 million men and women in this single deployment on this single world in this single battle will now show them the might of the God Emperor. That weapon in your hands has killed 99% of the alien populations in this galaxy. Unfortunately for you, soldier, you're fighting the final 1%. May the Emperor be with us. Glory to the first man to die, for in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war.
All right.
So basically, this is all about just war.
Thank you, everyone. I hope I have
that's the
helped
name.
teach you about Warhammer. If you are a brand new person and you want to get a bit more about the world, there are multiple books that do a great job at showing off how the entire universe operates. For the most part, Warhammer is a setting, and often stories are told in that setting with a Warhammer coat of paint. Gaunt's Ghosts is Band of Brothers, but Warhammer. It's honestly one of my #1 recommendations for new people. Assassinorum Kingmaker is an assassin novel involving those night worlds. This is Mission Impossible, but Warhammer. Bloodlines is Blade Runner, but Warhammer. And the list goes on and on. If I had to
Okay, I
recommend a
understand
brand
that.
new novel for a first-time Warhammer enjoyer, these are the 4 I would recommend. Horus Rising, Caiaphas Cain, First and Only,
I wanna
Gaunt's
read
Ghosts,
this.
and Infinite
Horus
and the
Rising.
Divine. They are all fantastic novels, and they will get you acquainted with the world without needing to know too much. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Get yourself a Gamer Subs flavor, enjoy the new sweet 6-pack, and if you're curious and you want, just a little lord, you can find him in the description as well on my merchandise store, orchid8.com. Thank you for watching, and may the God Emperor be with us.
Come on. Obviously, you're a skater.
All right. All right. So okay, I get it. Okay. All right. First and foremost, shout outs to Bricky. Really good video there. I am gonna go over it, not now, but I will go over it again. There's some parts I want to just brush up on, but I understand it now. That was really well done. So basically, Warhammer is literally just a whole, I want to say, universe of war, non-stop war, and then within these wars across the universe is these stories, these factions, these armies, these causes, and so forth. But the overall theme is war. Like you said, it is just war, which is interesting. So that makes a lot of sense. It doesn't seem like there's an end in terms of like the overall plot story of the war. Doesn't feel like there is like a sort of end sight goal.
I think there's nothing. I think there's one rise, one fall, one rise, one fall.
Yeah.
And they fight to get their dominance, and then that's the legit that I got from this, because and like everyone is split into different factions, and you have, for example, what I really like, sorry, is the guy said that no one's really good. No one is really bad.
I mean, you can't be in this kind of setting.
Yeah.
It's great, man. Like, imagine being born in this kind of world.
I mean, Mars just exit me, fam, because I ain't fighting for the rest of my life, man.
It's interesting, though, because I was expecting there to be some kind of, because he mentioned it earlier with the yin and yang, but I don't see the yin and yang. I just see
Chaos.
Chaos, right? But then, what's the opposite to chaos? It's order. So then there's no, I guess there is some order amongst some of the worlds and some of the ways that they're teaching, whether it be like a fascist sort of regime or a more democratic regime, maybe.
It can't be the humans, because apparently there was one guy that said, remember he said they tried to bring peace, maybe the aliens don't want to fight you, you get killed for having no kind of speech. So they don't really want to make peace.
Yeah, that was
with
the church, innit?
Yeah. So they don't really want to make
but
peace.
they seem to be, it's interesting because it seems like Warhammer itself, the franchise itself, is drawing inspirations from real life sort of systems that we have today. So with this whole church thing, it seems like they're like very, man, how can I say it without being too offensive? You know, like they could be too sort of extreme in a sense, right?
But the thing is, like, they're not following the empire though, because he said he doesn't want
no,
to
the
see him as God.
church. They praised the emperor. Yeah,
but they're not following his will.
No,
They're doing their own, because he said he doesn't want to be seen as a god.
Yeah, but that's what the narrator said. That's what Bricky said. I don't know if the king or the emperor actually ever said that, but I know what you're saying. Yeah. It seems
I
like.
couldn't go based on what he said, but he said that.
But I don't know if he was saying it from the emperor's perspective or from the narrator's perspective. But I know what you're saying. He did mention that. He never wanted to be seen as a god. And
remember, because he can't talk. The church is going based on what they think that his will is. Because he can't talk anymore. Because he remember.
Yeah. So they're taking advantage of that. That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. It kind of, for me, because I'm not religious in real life, so it kind of feels like to me they're drawing off like real life experiences. Because I feel like in this day and age, especially today, that a lot of people do take advantage of the church and how it operates and how it works. I'm not saying anything bad about the church. I'm just saying there's a lot of bad actors, and it seems to me that that was one side of it as well. And then there's like, oh man, there's so much lore. There's so much lore. I still can't get over space elves. That's crazy to me. But yeah, the space elves and how they just sort of peaked. It's crazy because that is an interesting thing to think about. Like, where do you go after you peaked? Like, once you peaked and you want to see, you want the next hit, you want the next, euphoria. How do you accomplish that? And it is through debauchery, like the guy said. How can it can't, unless you can just come to the ideas of being content. It is going to be through debauchery. It's going to be through like just degeneracy, which is what they engage in, and that was the fall of that sort of race and the birth of a new chaos god. I thought that was quite interesting thing to see. It kind of reminded me of it did kind of remind me of like some themes of Berserk. I don't know which one came first, but there was like a lot of because that's like kind of like the idea of like how the god hands came into place as well, although different methods, but it's like based off the same kind of stuff. But yeah, it's interesting, man. That I'm definitely gonna pick up the first book, and I'm actually interested to see. I forgot his name, the Lex Luthor looking one, the one that the Great Betrayal, the one that got evaporated by the Emperor in the end. Honestly, he got corrupted, but I'm kind of curious to see his story. I do like a good villain, so yeah, I probably will pick up the book. But yeah. Interesting, man. This is a long video, man. So we're not going to drag it on too long. But yeah, thank you for everyone that recommended this. I probably will chop it down. I'm not going to play the full video simply because copyright, and I don't want to look like I'm biting this man's content. So we'll chop it down into a bit more of a digestible video. But once again, thank you for everyone recommending it. I probably will pick up the first book that he recommended, which was, I believe, what was it? The Heresy, right? Yeah, no, sorry, Horus Rising. I've heard people recommend this book as well, so I probably will pick that up off Prime and give it a read. And yeah, who knows? This could be like I said, I said this earlier. This could be a start of a very expensive hobby because you know they do like the figurines. It's like an actual game. Yeah. And a lot of people, these figurines sell.
I'll probably just read the books. I'm not one of them ones that will invest money like that.
True.
Nothing wrong with that, but
I can't lie though. I was on a timeline once and on TikTok. I don't know how it got into my algorithm, but there was a girl on TikTok and she's got one crazy 20-foot tall like space marine. Like she put it all together. It's huge, almost bigger than her house. I was like, low key, that's kind of dope. Still, I want one. Obviously, I can't fit one in there, but yeah, man, I can see why people get into this sort of series. It's crazy. Again, I said it during the thing. I'll leave on this note. I did say it during this video that it seems like they've pulled stories from all kinds of science fiction and sci-fi fantasy even, and jammed it into one big universe.
Yeah.
That I'm seeing like you got the gods and so forth, but I'm seeing inspirations from like Berserk in there, Star Wars, Star Trek with like the travel system, the warp system, Game of Thrones with like kings and the emperor, and his 13 or 18 offsprings. Just like a lot of power dynamics. Yeah, it's like it draws. I can probably think of. You could probably give me like a sci-fi show that you've watched. I could probably say, there's inspirations in Warhammer from that. It's crazy how they've done that. It's actually pretty impressive.
I also just think the gods. I think
even the gods, the three gods.
They might seem a bit useless, man, because you don't hear anything from them.
Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to ask. That's true as well. But then. Up until he took the 18 kids and scattered them across the universe.
But we don't know which one it was.
I thought it was all of them. No, did they say the Chaos Gods? I thought it was I thought they were all scheming. So that was interesting. And then what do you think? Do you think there's like a theory behind who the Emperor is?
Yeah, that's the thing that I didn't get. Like, I think he must have been.
There's like a clear mystery there.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's on purpose. It seems like it was.
Is he human though?
Is he human?
That's the question, right?
10 foot tall, crazy psychic powers.
And he came out of nowhere as well. So
from nowhere, no one saw him coming. Unless it has. I mean, this video is 2 years old, so maybe that part has already been explained recently. Who knows? But sorry, Karen.
No, I probably think he's like a mixed breed or something, or he was born. You know how they said Jesus was born out of nothing? I think he's from the chaos.
Yeah,
and he was just born from that.
I do think
because he has one of the highest psychic.
That's what I'm saying.
I think he must be born from that chaos world, and somehow it's like Anakin was from Star Wars.
Born from the Force. Yeah.
So he was born from the chaos.
Could be, and he just ended up on Earth somehow.
Yeah.
Could be.
That's my theory.
That could be his purpose.
How can you have so much power to have he was opening the gates or something like that, and to have that kind of source of energy and all that kind of crazy? I said, he must have been born from the source of something.
Okay, interesting. All right, so like I said, this video has been almost an hour, man. Our longest video yet. But like I said, you probably won't see the full hour. I'm gonna chop things down. But if you did stick and stayed with us during this whole experience, thank you. If you can, like, comment, subscribe, help us along the way, trying to reach that golden 300 at the moment. That's our big target. And then if you got any more sort of recommendations or videos to watch when it comes to 40k, let us know as well. That'd be I'm willing to watch it anyway. So I'm actually getting more and more intrigued. I've got so many questions, but I do need to go back and revisit a few things as well. I've already forgotten half the names. I just remember Space Elves or the Elgards. Is it Elgards or something like that? But let me not drag this on. Thank you. Please, again, like, comment, subscribe down below. And as always, guys, we will see you in the next reaction.
Catch you guys in a bit.